Stand by to fall in, Polk County. This is today's veteran. Hello and welcome, and on behalf of everyone at the Office of Polk County Veteran Services, we welcome you to today's veteran. Thank you for joining us. And on this installment, we're going to talk Louisville Sluggers Warrior Softball. The Louisville Slugger Warriors are a competitive softball team made up of highly decorated U.S. military veterans and active duty personnel with physical and invisible wounds. Joining us on site from the Holiday Inn poolside in Winter Haven to talk about the program is David Van Sleet, General Manager and President of the Louisville Slugger Warrior National Amputee Softball Team. David, I want to welcome you to the show. Welcome back to Polk County.
Thank you, Brian. Glad to be back.
I'm not sure what's going on here. We're poolside. And did you bring this weather with you?
Well, I live in Florida, so it's clear, it's sunny, it's dry, and tomorrow's going to be 80 degrees.
Yeah, but this morning it's a balmy 47.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us again and welcome back. And if you could tell the folks a little bit about the Louisville Sluggers team, if you would, please.
Well, in 2010, I came up with an idea about getting very athletic amputees involved in playing ball, whether it be softball or baseball. And that was just an idea I had because the passions in my life have been basically the U.S. Army, my career in prosthetics, working with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and being a baseball and softball player. So that's when the light bulb went off, and Louisville Slugger brought me into their headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky in December of 2010, and met with the CEO, the fifth generation CEO from the Hillerick family, and Rick Redmond, their Vice President of Corporate Communications, and the idea was hatched. So fast forward, this is my 8th year coming to Polk County in a row with a team of players.
Well, I want you to talk, I talked with Lonnie Gaudette 2 years ago, and Lonnie talked a little bit about the passion of being competitive, but he talked most of all wearing the Louisville Slugger brand. He said it's a bat you swung when you were younger, and not only does the company have pride in them, but the players have pride in the brand that they're wearing. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, Louisville Slugger is over 135 years old, and they are the official bat of Major League Baseball. Regardless if we're playing softball here or not, they still make the top, softball bat, and they still make the top baseball bat. And we have ventured into baseball as well as softball, so everything we swing is the Louisville Slugger bat. But just wearing the name across our chest and on our uniforms, everyone knows Louisville Slugger. And, it's in country stars songs even, So it's a very, very prominent brand, and they are so proud to sponsor this team. We're the top athletic amputee team in the world.
I want you to talk to me a little bit. I touched on it briefly, but there's still, a part of their soul, a part of their body may be missing for the players that play for you, but they still have that competitive drive, that thing that pushed us into service to begin with. Talk about what this team does for them in the healing process, if you would.
Well, it's obviously to say, when you're in the service, you meet a lot of young guys like yourself, and the camaraderie is unbelievable. And then when you get out, you lose that. But when you get on, you qualify and you can play at this level with a team like this, that all comes back again, that camaraderie. And they all have, some have similar injuries, some have completely different injuries, but they're able to talk to these other players one-on-one about what's working for you, what's not working for you, how you doing in life, how's your marriage, how's your your job, just everything. So it's like a network that they can just pick up the phone or talk to in person on a trip that we go on, that they can mend themselves physically and mentally.
You know, I keep bringing up Lonnie Gaudette because I've talked with Lonnie,
Sure.
and I've talked with Matt, who we're going to interview here in a little bit. But Lonnie said something that stuck with me the first time I interviewed, and he said the players still have that fire, that intensity, and just because we may be missing a limb doesn't mean we ain't going to take it easy on you. And after talking with Terry Hennessy about last year's game, senior softball is like, stop kicking our ass. What happens when these guys get out on the field?
Well, first of all, these guys are getting older and have been playing the game a few more years, and they really learned how to play the game. And you know, they don't want to just go out there and just play. They want to go out and compete. And you know, they want to win. Whenever we go anywhere in the country, they want to win. But they're winning already. They're winning as being an athlete. They're winning as being an amputee and getting back up on their feet and getting out into the active society and stuff like that. You know, we're not going to give you any favors. If we can beat you by 10 runs, we'll beat you by 10. If we can beat you by 20, we'll beat you by 20. If you can beat us, you got a good team.
One of the things that you touched on, not only are these Warriors role models to the community, but they're also role models to the guys that they play against. Talk about that thing that they do for all of us that really helps us all heal.
Well, being a veteran myself and have had a full career with the Department of Veterans Affairs in the field of prosthetics, I've seen the patient that basically accepts that he's an amputee and goes home and literally doesn't even leave the house. But then I've seen the other guys that have become an amputee and they want to get back to their lifestyle, their athletic career, and become an athlete again. And if they can, these guys work out all week. They practice on teams in their local communities, and they live for these trips where we go out and play competitive teams.
I've heard it more than one time. Self-described gym rats.
There you go.
I want you to tell me, throughout putting this team together, logistically, this is a nightmare sometimes because these guys come from all over the U.S.
Yes.
This weekend you're in Florida. Next weekend, you know, the next time you're somewhere else. No matter what, I like to follow you guys, but my goodness, man, how hard is it to get each one of these guys in and taken care of and get them back home?
Well, this is a logistical nightmare. I live in Florida, and I'm the only one that lives in Florida. But there's a university right next to me called Florida Gulf Coast University. And before you graduate, you got to do X amount of hours of community service. So I've got a mainstream of students who want to do their community service with me. And it doesn't cost our organization a cent. So when we go away, it's about 15 people traveling to that same location from all different spots in the country. So it's not like a team that's flying from Tampa to Washington, D.C. It's a team flying from all over the country to Washington, D.C. So, there's a little bit of math involved here. We want everyone to get within an hour of landing at an airport because then we have the aspect of doing all the ground transportation. But we have a system that if you get delayed, your flight gets canceled, there's a way you can catch up with us, whatever city we're in and stuff like that. But, as for the guys, they don't understand the backstory of what goes into planning a trip. All they do is go and show up at the airport and put their card in the machine and they got a ticket. where hours and hours and hours have went into doing logistics to move this team around the country.
Like Matt told me, man, I'm just here to play ball.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that's unique about this tournament this weekend, fundraising is probably the life's blood of your organization, getting your players to be seen in the communities. This weekend, you have a unique opportunity that you allow players to play with you and people bid on that. But talk to me about other fundraising opportunities, the way that folks could possibly help you guys out.
Well, everyone pretty much knows that we're a 501c3 nonprofit. So all donations, sponsorships, everything's tax deductible for the people that are doing that. But this doesn't come free. Just think of planning a vacation for 15 people and how much that vacation would cost for 3 days. So we do all different sorts of fundraising. We get just individual checks come in the mail. People hear about us, see us on social media. We do fundraisers when we're at an event, which is probably the best way to do it because people get to meet and see and talk to the amputee athletes right at that event. This Polk County, I came up with this idea a couple years ago that we're going to raffle off 2 or 3 spots at the big banquet on Thursday night in front of 1,500 people, and we sell $3,000 worth of raffle tickets every time we go to that banquet. And then we're at the banquet, someone might want to just make a donation. But Louisville Slugger and a couple other companies, they give us a couple items to auction off.
Yep.
And it's amazing. We had a Louisville Slugger bat autographed with all our team members a couple years ago, and it went for $7,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a community getting behind what you do, and really we appreciate every time you guys come to Polk County, and not only the examples that you're setting, but just being around and putting a quality product out there on the field.
What's unique about Polk County is, and Senior Softball USA is, this tournament or this event, which is 4 or 5 days long, most of these guys could be veterans because to play senior softball, you have to be 40 and up. So there's the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. There's teams here from the 80s that are 80 years old. So when you get into that 60 and above, a lot of those guys fall into that veteran category. And so they just love to be one of the guys selected to play in that game with us.
Well, David, I want to thank you for coming on the show with us, and good luck tonight. Not only tonight, but hope to see you again next year.
Yeah. You know, this being my 8th year, I'd like to make it to 10 here. Yeah, that'd be good.
We'll be back with more of the Louisville Slugger Warrior softball team after this look at a visit from Polk County.
What we have here is we have players from the National All-Star team. That's the best players selected from the teams, and they're going to play the Louisville Slugger Warriors in this game, which means a whole lot because the Louisville Slugger Warriors are such an inspiring team.
My ties to Polk County, I moved here in '99 from Louisiana and started high school at Auburndale Senior High. Graduated in 2003, played a little bit of baseball, did a little bit of wrestling. Stayed here till '09 when I joined the military. I went to Fort Benning for my initial basic training, and then I was stationed at Fort Carson in Colorado. I was deployed to Afghanistan in 2010. I stepped on a landmine in March of 2011 and became a amputee right below knee amputation. So I rehabbed in San Antonio through the CFI, which is the Center for the Intrepid. It's a great facility, awesome staff. They push hard. From day one out of the hospital, they had me doing battle ropes in a wheelchair. And then from there, it was keep moving forward. You know, it was just kind of get your ass in gear or you're not gonna go anywhere. Some guys don't ever go anywhere, and that's the downside of these kind of injuries. But you can either be defined by it or you can define it. And you take that choice. I made the choice to define my injury, and since then I've I've moved on with softball and now playing competitively with this traveling team of other veterans and amputees who are going around the country and, you know, giving it all we got to show people that, you know, if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way to accomplish it. I would have never considered myself a role model until, you know, kids coming up and saying, or not even kids, but adults coming up and saying, you know, oh, you inspired me to get out and do something because I've spent the last 3 years as an amputee from diabetes, and I just felt that there was nothing else to do. And I see you guys out here running around playing softball and diving and everything, and you know, maybe I should get up and start getting motivated. And it's awesome to see what just a positive attitude and a little bit of reinforcement in the fact of you can do more with your situation. Having Louisville Slugger as a sponsor is a privilege. As a kid growing up, what did you swing? Wooden Louisville Slugger bat. Everybody knows the brand, so as a kid growing up, that was the coolest thing. You know, if you had a Slugger bat, you were a baseball player. And now I play for a team that's sponsored by something I loved as a kid. So to me, it's a privilege to be able to enjoy somebody willing to give us the ability to go out and do what we love. And they're doing it with just as much passion as our fans. They love the fact that we're willing to push, and they're pushing us to push their label, their brand. We all have that same sense of drive, determination, refuse to quit. That's why we made it through our rehab, and it's why we're doing what we do. And when we're out here, we don't have to talk about it. We get to just play. Everybody else can look at our injuries and say what they want to, but we know what we're capable of, and they can just sit in awe and watch what happens. This is fireworks. And we want to show people that we are just a team. We're not amputees. We're not guys with visible wounds. We want to just show people that we can still play and not be looked at as, you know, oh, well, maybe we should take it a little easy on it, because we're not going to take it easy on you.
Joining us poolside from the Holiday Inn, an old friend of today's veteran, Matt Kinsey. Saw him a few years ago when we did a spotlight on him, and no gray hair. What?
I don't know what's happening.
The life is treating you good, isn't it?
Life's not too bad.
Yeah.
Life's not too bad. So
how you doing? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah. So listen, for the folks that might not know the Warrior team and the Warrior brand, and of course Matt Kinsey, talk to us a little bit about your history, military service, and what got you here.
Okay. Joined the military March 2006. Deployed, was a paratrooper. I went to Afghanistan on my first deployment, February of 07 through May of 08, and then I went back in Afghanistan. Then I went back to Afghanistan in August 2009. And then on June 2nd, 2010, I was on a night patrol, stepped on a landmine, suffered amputation of my right foot. So I was medevaced out, went to Walter Reed Army Medical Center in DC, and that fall I was contacted by David Van Sleet, our general manager, if I wanted the opportunity to go to University of Arizona to play softball on the first ever all-amputee softball team. So sure, why not? So that March comes around, and we go out there. We had a great time. Found out we had some really good talent. This is 2011, so the war was still really heavy, and unfortunately we were seeing a lot of casualties, and so it was good to have something positive coming out of all of the injuries we were sustaining. So we started the Wounded Warrior amputee softball team, and we traveled the country for I played there for 5 years, went all over the country, all over the world playing, made lifelong friendships. So ran that course. It was time to, felt like I'd outlived my use there. I wanted to go do something else. I was at the top of my game in softball at the time, and wanted to look for something a little more competitive. So we joined the Louisville Slugger Warriors, played competitive softball for a couple of years. It was really fun. Then we had the opportunity to play in the Men's Adult Baseball League World Series. And we went out there and did that. And I hadn't played baseball since 14 when we went over to Japan and played. And we really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I was a little hesitant to come back. I'm not going to lie, which Dave will tell you, because I mean, baseball and softball is two different things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you have to train. I pitch for the baseball team, and you have to train a lot harder than normal to be able to come back. And I'm gonna be 35 next month, so it's getting harder every year.
35?
Yeah, I'll be 35 next month.
You're just a kid when I met you.
Yeah, I was in my 20s. I was the last year in my 20s. But you know, so the Louisville Slugger Warriors now plays baseball and softball games. So mostly softball's exhibition, and the baseball is the more competitive side. But it's a lot of fun. I'll tell you, it's been a trip.
I want you to talk to me a little bit. You know, you say that, you know, you've turned something bad into something good. Talk to me about that role model, not only to young adults, but to other veterans and those who've never even served. Talk about the role model that you are.
Well, it's just I think people's first take is when they see somebody that has a disability, you know, missing a limb or whatever, is, you know, they feel sorry for them. And I understand that. Before I was injured, you know, I felt sorry for them. But being able to do the things that I've done and this organization done, my teammates have done, not just me, it's been unreal. You know, I'm a baseball instructor back in Louisville, and you know, the joke we always tell my kids is, I have one leg and I can do it. There's no excuse for you. And so I think it's just such a motivating thing for people, and especially the youngsters. The youngsters really get a kick out of it, because if they see us out there doing the things that we're competing at a high level, then it gives them hope that they can compete at a high level as well. And you know, former teammates of mine, former Army buddies of mine have been like, you know, they'll call me up and be like, dude, what you've done's unreal. You know, getting to watch you play. They follow my career on social media, and they've gotten to watch me play a couple times, and they're like, after, you know, going through the things that we went through in the service, to watching you guys bounce back and do what you guys are doing, it's, you know, it's a great message that we send. I mean, you know, we still got guys in the desert, and you know, guys like me are still out here grinding to give everybody hope.
I want you to talk to me a little bit about the competitive spirit. I mean, we all joined the military because there was something that drove us
Absolutely.
to that, to be the best.
Yeah.
And even at your injury, you still want to be the best. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about how this team, how this is just an extension of your competitive spirit.
Oh, I mean, you don't play this game if you're not a competitor anymore. You know, and like you said, being in the military, we wanted to be the best. We pushed ourselves hard, and to keep playing a game at a high level, you have to compete. And you know, now that we're doing both, the levels, you know, the stress on competing is getting harder. And as I said, I'm getting older, and I got to train harder. But you know, I still love walking between the chalk lines.
Yeah.
You know, I still do. You know, everybody's asked me when I'm gonna call it. You know, this is my 9th year. March will be my 9th year playing for either the Wounded Warriors or for Louisville Slugger or the Warriors, whatever. Everybody's asked me, you know, when's your final? You know, when are you gonna do it? And you know, I thought about walking away a couple times just to have a normal life. You know, got a dog, got a job, but I still love getting out there.
Yeah.
And you know, I pitch for the baseball team, and walking out on the mound is still my favorite place in the world. And as long as I can still throw hard and still compete, I'm probably going to do it for as long as I can.
This is one of the places that you guys play the exhibition softball.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about competing here in Polk County, man. This seniors team talking with Terry, I told David, I said, you know, Terry said that from the senior division, he goes, man, they just kicked our last year.
So I believe this is our 8th year doing this, and every year it's hit and miss. I mean, 2 heavyweights jump in the ring, and you never know what's going to come out. You know, with the 5-run limit inning, that helps. And then
I talked to my buddy Mark, who's shooting for us today. He shot it last year, and he's like, first inning, man, 5 home runs in a row, and you guys, sit down.
Yeah, we're good. I wasn't healthy last year. I just had knee surgery, so I wasn't even supposed to be playing. Yeah. But 2 years ago, I'll never forget, I think we had a 17-run lead going into the 7th, and they scored 17 runs in 1 inning on us. And I was just like,
wow.
Just looking around, balls flying. I mean, everyone was like, holy cow, this is ridiculous. But it's always fun. We've built relationships with Rain and Dave and Terry, and we've built relationships. I know I have built personal relationships with a lot of the players that come down here every year, some of the fans. And, it's exciting to see those people, because they come from all over, and to watch us, and they've watched us do this for so many years now. And it's just neat to still be able to do it and get to see everybody. And, I appreciate them having us down here. And it's a highlight of, one of the highlights of my year.
So what does the future hold for Matt Kinsey? We know we're coming to the end of a career. We know that we got things going on. But there's got to be, like you said, life after ball. You're still going to come be an ambassador, aren't you?
I'm still going to be around. Even after I've thrown my last pitch or taken my last at bat, I'd like to maybe jump on as a coach or something and help out with the backside, and the behind the scenes stuff. I'm a baseball instructor in Louisville, so I still get to impact the game in that way. Life changes when you get older. I have a house. I've got a dog.
Hey, what's the dog's name, man?
Trooper.
Trooper,
yeah.
Nice.
I was a paratrooper, so his name's Trooper. He takes up all my time.
Yeah.
But I love him. I guess your priorities change as you get older, but it ain't over yet. I'm not ready to, like I said, I know I'm getting close to being done, but I can still walk out there and play. I can still walk out there and compete, and when that day comes, then I'll tackle that. But as of right now, I'm planning on playing until this body gives out or we stop playing.
Matt, we got about 30 seconds left. What I want you to do is inspire those out there watching, sitting on the couches that might have a disability. Inspire them to do what you have done. Despite, in the face of adversity, you're still going to rise. If you could, how would you do that?
I just look at, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Honestly, it's just a matter of finding something that you're passionate about, finding something that you love, and pursuing it. Whether it's snowboarding or baseball, softball, basketball, it doesn't matter. Shooting, archery, it doesn't matter what you do. As long as you find something you love and you want to be the best at it, that's the reason that gives you the motivation to get up every day and do it. And I love baseball and softball, and that is the reason I get up every morning and I'm ready to put work in. And that's the reason I've been able to play for as long as I have.
Well, listen, brother, I'm going to hold you to this. On your last year, you're going to have to make the announcement with me.
I'll let you know, yeah. Everybody keeps asking. I'm like, I'm not that friggin' old, It's like, but...
Matt, yes, you are.
I mean, I'm getting there. But, like I said, I still can go out and, especially on the baseball side, still got the competitive juices rolling. I still throw hard. And, as long as I can do it, I'm going to do it.
Always good to see you, man.
Pleasure.
Come back and see me again,
Yes,
all right?
Can't wait.
All right. For more information, you can check out the Louisville Slugger softball team at lswarriors.org. That's going to do it for this edition of Today's Veteran. I want to thank our guests, Matt Kinsey and David Van Sleet, but most of all, I want to thank you for joining us. Remember, for help and information regarding claims and benefits and services available to veterans and their families, call the Polk County Veterans Service Office at 863-534-5220 or look them up on the web at www.polk-county.net. I also want to thank the Holiday Inn Winter Haven for their being such gracious hosts to Today's Veteran. I'm Brian Lacey sitting in for Tim Kirkhart, and we'll see you next month.